Imagine an object the size of a small city moving at over 61 kilometers per second, 200 times faster than a commercial jet, and it's now cutting through our solar system. This isn't science fiction. This is 3I Atlas, only the third confirmed interstellar visitor in human history. And what scientists have just uncovered about this mysterious traveler is sending shockwaves through the astrophysics community. Using Chile's Very Large Telescope, astronomers detected something nearly impossible: ultra-pure nickel without any trace of iron. In nature, nickel and iron always appear together. Not this time. Add to that a bizarre glow that seems to emanate from within the object itself, not simply reflecting sunlight like a typical comet. And one question becomes unavoidable. Is 3I Atlas really just a space rock, or are we looking at something far more engineered? Some researchers now believe we may be watching an alien probe in disguise, disguised as a comet, moving silently across planetary orbits as if to blend in. The implications are staggering. Could this be the second instance after the infamous Oumuamua, where a so-called interstellar object is actually something artificial, something sent? And here's the twist. Both Oumuamua and 3I Atlas originated from the same region of space, the direction of the Sagittarius constellation, where in 1977 we received the famous WOW signal, one of the strongest unexplained radio signals ever recorded. Now, as 3I Atlas accelerates toward its closest approach to the Sun this October, questions are intensifying. What exactly is it made of? Why is it glowing? And why is it traveling in the exact orbital plane as our planet's a path so unnaturally precise that it defies statistical chance? Scientists are scrambling to gather data. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has been tasked with observing the object as it flies past Mars on October 3rd, 2025, and hopes are high that its high-rise camera can finally give us a closer look. But with NASA already warning that resolution may be limited 30 kilometers per pixel, it's possible that even then we won't know what we're really looking at. Which leads us back to the chilling question: what if this object isn't natural? What if it's watching us? This episode explores the unfolding mystery of 3I Atlas, a cosmic visitor whose strange behavior is rewriting the rules of interstellar science and forcing us to consider that we might not be alone or even unobserved. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear may change the way you view everything from comets to contact. 3I Atlas was first detected in 2024 by the Atlas system in Hawaii, an automated sky survey designed to identify near-Earth threats. But this object was an ordinary asteroid. Orbital reconstruction quickly confirmed it didn't come from within our solar system. Its inbound velocity trajectory and hyperbolic path marked it unmistakably as interstellar. That made it only the third confirmed object of its kind, after Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. Yet almost immediately, 3I Atlas began defying expectations. Unlike Borisov, a textbook comet atlas began exhibiting chemical and physical properties that no known natural body had ever shown. Most striking was its composition. Spectroscopic analysis detected massive CO2 outgassing far higher than any recorded comet, with little to no trace of water ice. That's bizarre because comets are usually rich in water, mixed with dust and organic compounds. Not this one. Atlas seemed composed almost entirely of carbon dioxide, ejecting gas in vast quantities as it approached the Sun. And then came the metallic signatures, nickel incredibly pure, isolated from iron. This finding stunned researchers. In both terrestrial and cosmic geology, nickel and iron co-occur naturally. Their separation is extraordinarily difficult and usually requires artificial refinement. But 3I Atlas doesn't just break the chemical rules, it challenges mechanical ones. Its flight path lies almost perfectly along the ecliptic, the flat plane, in which all our planets orbit the Sun. That's statistically improbable for any random interstellar object. Most intruders arrive on steep, angled paths, piercing through the solar system like a dart. But 3I Atlas glides in like it's following planetary traffic, mimicking the solar system's choreography. This strange alignment immediately triggered speculation. Is the object simply lucky? Or is its path the result of programmed control? Researchers cautiously proposed natural explanations. Some suggested that 3I Atlas could be debris from an ancient planetary collision, shattered remnants from a dead star system flung across the galaxy by gravitational chaos. If that were true, though it still doesn't explain the purity of its metals or the unusual absence of ice, and it definitely doesn't account for another anomaly, the light. Atlas appears to be emitting a faint glow, not merely reflecting sunlight like a dusty comet, but radiating weak, continuous light. Could it be internal activity, thermal processes, or something else? The Very Large Telescope continues to monitor these emissions. And while the majority of astrophysicists remain cautious, some like Harvard's Avi Loeb aren't afraid to ask the unthinkable. What if this object is sending signals? What if it's equipped with sensors? We might be dealing with something we don't understand. Not because our science is flawed, but because it was never built for what's out there. For now, the data remains inconclusive. But 3I Atlas is not acting alone. It's acting different. As 3I Atlas races toward its closest approach to the Sun, the debate surrounding its true nature is escalating. At the heart of the controversy lies a single idea that many in the scientific community are reluctant to touch: artificiality. The shape of the object is another factor adding fuel to the fire. While final measurements are still underway, early observations suggest it's elongated more like a cigar or disc than a typical spherical comet. Sound familiar? That's exactly how Oumuamua was described. But whereas Oumuamua passed Earth before we could take a closer look, 3I Atlas was detected early, giving us a rare window to prepare. And prepare we are. Multiple orbiters, including the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, are now recalibrating their instruments, hoping to capture Atlas as it makes a close pass near Mars on October 3, 2025. If successful, this could be the first time humanity visually confirms an interstellar object in high resolution. But the closer we look, the stranger it gets. The trajectory of Atlas doesn't match any known gravitational capture path. It's not being flung around planets like a slingshot. It's cutting cleanly across the solar system like a guided missile. And perhaps most disturbing of all, its origin tracks precisely back to the constellation Sagittarius, the same region from which the unexplained WOW signal was received in 1977. That signal, lasting only 72 seconds, was a narrowband radio pulse, unlike any natural emission. And now, nearly 50 years later, another anomaly, larger, faster, and physically present, is arriving from the same celestial coordinates. Coincidence, maybe, but then again, maybe not. Several independent astronomers have begun linking Atlas to the broader Fermi paradox, the question of why, in a universe filled with stars and planets, we have yet to encounter definitive evidence of alien life. One proposed solution is the dark forest hypothesis, which imagines the universe as a jungle where every civilization hides in silence, fearing that revealing itself could attract predators. If that theory holds any truth, then objects like 3I Atlas may not be accidental wanderers. They might be scouts, silent, observing, measuring, blending in by mimicking natural phenomena. The idea is chilling. Imagine a civilization advanced enough to build probes disguised as debris, engineered to look like comets, behave like rocks, and slip unnoticed through planetary systems. And what would such a probe be doing here? Scanning our mineral resources, measuring electromagnetic emissions, mapping defense structures. Some argue we're giving in to fantasy. That extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. But others point out, what evidence are we waiting for? A transmission, a landing, a light beam in the sky. Maybe the evidence is already here, just wrapped in the wrong assumptions. Because while we search the heavens for flashing signals or flying saucers, the real visitors might be slow, quiet, and nearly invisible. They wouldn't need to land or communicate. Just pass through, observe, and leave. If we fail to recognize that it's not because they're hiding too well, it's because we're looking for the wrong thing. The Atlas anomaly might be the universe's way of saying, you're not alone, but you're not ready. That's not science fiction. That's a possibility science is just beginning to confront. And with the Mars flyby only days away, the opportunity to turn speculation into confirmation is closing fast. One shot, one glimpse, one object that could change how we see ourselves in the cosmos. Despite all the theories, natural debris, planetary fragment, artificial probe. One fact remains indisputable. Atlas is not behaving like any comet we've seen before. It's faster, brighter, chemically anomalous, and traveling with an eerie precision that even seasoned astrophysicists struggle to explain. NASA's upcoming attempt to capture images during the Mars flyby may either validate our suspicions or leave us with even deeper questions. But what's truly haunting is this. Even if we get a blurry image, even if the data stays ambiguous, the mystery won't go away. In fact, it will grow, because the more we try to categorize Atlas, the less it fits. A celestial object without water ice, emitting its own light, with refined metals, and no clear natural origin. This isn't just an anomaly. It's a provocation. Something or someone wants to be seen, but not understood. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of all is the pattern. First, Oumuamua, now Atlas. 2 interstellar intruders in less than a decade, both with unorthodox structures, strange accelerations and paths aligned with our solar system's plane. Both tied coincidentally, or not, to the Sagittarius constellation. And both arriving with no warning. If this trend continues, we may not be looking at isolated accidents. We might be witnessing a reconnaissance pattern, an interstellar strategy we're only beginning to glimpse. And that leads to the bigger question. What if these objects aren't just visiting? What if they're part of a network, a long-term observation system designed to monitor emerging civilizations like ours? Could 3i Atlas be collecting data, transmitting signals, or even awaiting a response? These aren't just speculative questions, they're becoming necessary ones. Because in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, silence is no longer the only clue. Now we have movement. Now we have metal. Now we have light. And just maybe we have intent. Whether this object is a natural fragment from a dead world or a disguised alien instrument, the truth is that its presence changes how we think about space, about contact, about ourselves. It reminds us that the universe is not empty, it's alive with possibilities, and some of them may be closer than we're comfortable with. So as the countdown to the Mars encounter begins, we must ask, are we prepared for what we might find? Or worse, are we prepared to realize that we've already been found? What do you believe is 3i Atlas, a misunderstood cosmic traveler, or something far more deliberate? Drop your theory below, because this is no longer just astronomy. It's a conversation about our place in the universe, and it's one we all need to have.